You
everyone.
too.
Yes, this is actor Art Spell, and he is a phenomenal actor and person. He played in two of our feature films. We have a trilogy of feature films, and the first film is called Mr. Advocate. It released last week at Brave Maker Film Festival. So, welcome, Art. How are you today?
I am so happy and honored to be here, and even more thrilled and humbled to be a part of Mr. Advocate, and I call the Mr. Advocate trilogy. Just to be a part of, the Mr. Advocate trilogy, and just being a part of it in any way, shape, or form, and it's just an honor. It really is.
Yes, well, thank you. First, I just want to say, as I wrote in the captions, and I've told you this in person too, actors that have been on my set have brought up your name unprompted. When we're just having a
Really?
conversation about something else, and they'll just talk about you. Good
Wow.
things about how, oh, I want to work with Art, or Art is such a great actor, or it's always with your skill or your personality. People just like you and notice how talented you are. So
Wow.
I just wanted to say that.
Oh man, to those watching and to you, Stacy, thank you first of all for telling me that. And to those watching and those that said that, thank you so much from not just the top of my brain and the bottom of my heart, but deep down in my soul for what you said. Because the funny thing is that what brings that out of me is working with other great actors, other great people, other great professionals. And when you have that opportunity to do that while doing what you love, your passion, which is acting and performing. Um, and when you get to do that, that's what brings out all those great compliments, which again, I appreciate and I love and just thank everybody. But like what brings that out of me is getting to work with people like you, Stacey, with cinematographers like Jordan and people on set like Billy and Hayden, who I got to act with as well, and also and to tell you the truth, my three favorite actors right now are Jeremiah Smith, Conrad Cheeks, and Andre Jefferson. Oh my goodness gracious, man! And so when you get those opportunities, that's what brings that out of you. It not only brings all those compliments you're talking about, but it also brings out the best in you. And
Mhm.
so honestly, thank you so much to everyone who said that. But in all honesty, I also want to thank the ones that brought that out of me. And it starts with you, Stacy, for giving me that opportunity. So thank you.
You're welcome. I'm deeply honored to have worked with you. And so you have actually been an actor for a very long time. Are you interested in sharing a little bit about that?
Sure. My first acting job is when I was a 6 year old in kindergarten. I got to play Jesus in our Catholic
What?
in our Catholic play. I mean, yeah, we went through the whole.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was
What?
the whole
That,
Stations of the Cross thing. When Jesus suffered, and we did a play on it. I grew up. I was raised a Catholic. Went to a Catholic private school for grade school, high school, all that stuff. So
okay.
growing up that way, I really, really found a passion for. I guess it all started with wanting to be in the spotlight. And I hope it doesn't sound too selfish or self-centered, but it was just a simple case of wanting to show everybody what I could do, wanting to show, like, it kind of goes back to when you're a little kid, like, hey, mommy, look at me. Hey, dad, look what I can do, and everything. And it just got to the point where when I found what I thought I could do well and loved doing, I wanted to show everybody, I wanted to do that. And it's weird. I always go back to that because in eighth grade, I think the best story is that my eighth grade teacher wrote a play all on his own because he was really into movies and really into scripts, and all he did was he wrote this play over the weekend, and he just wanted to see if I could do it, if I would like it at all. I took that, I memorized it, I came back the next day, and when I proved to him that everything was memorized, he gave me like the biggest hug and said, "Thanks to you, we're going to follow through with my idea." And
Wow.
the whole grade school backed him up. He made his own show based on this play that he wrote, and then he gave me an opportunity to be the lead in it. And next thing you know, that just completely kind of coasted the way for everything else that I wanted to do. Because in high school, I ended up doing theater. And it's one of those things where I split my time from being an athlete, football, basketball, and baseball, and then going to theater. And I got to be honest, I had kind of a decision to make, and I chose theater over athletics because even though I love sports, I still love playing and watching sports. But acting was my passion because that's the one thing I always just said to everybody. I think I can do that just as good as anybody else. And I'm not trying to be better than anybody else. I'm just trying to bring my best so we can get a great production, so we can get something really cool. And so, so all through high school, and probably the best story that most people out there might know is that in high school, actually, when I actually tried out for basketball but didn't make it, it got me so depressed that I actually skipped auditions as a freshman for the musical Oklahoma. And I wasn't going to do it, but my mom got a phone call from my choir teacher because my choir teacher said, yo, your son can sing, but he didn't show up for auditions for our musical. And he asked why. And so my mom, being the mom that she is, she yelled at me, she got me in trouble, and she made me show up for callbacks just to audition. And even though I didn't want to, but the thing about me is that if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do my best, even if I don't want to, because I don't want to do that. And so I got kind of put into a corner because I show up to callbacks, and apparently I was supposed to have a song memorized or ready to sing for auditions, and I didn't know. And so they said, oh, just go up there and sing Happy Birthday or something in your own way. And so I was going to do that, but then all the other people auditioning did the exact same thing. And so what I did and what changed everything in high school was I said, you know what, screw it. I went up there, I sagged my pants down, I opened up my shirt, I popped my collar, and then I sang the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air song a cappella in front of everybody.
That is hilarious.
Yep, and exactly, and then all of a sudden, all the seniors, all the directors, they're laughing their butts off, and it's like, is this guy for real? But then towards the end of it, everyone starts clapping along with me and rapping along with me and stuff. And next thing you know, like I said, the rest was history. I ended up, as far as I know, I'm still the first and only freshman to get a lead in a musical. I think that's still a record. I think that might still be the case because I actually went to an all-boys school, and we coordinated with 2 all-girls schools. And as far as I know, I'm still the only freshman to get a lead in that musical. And so and then the rest was history. I got a scholarship to do theater at Sonoma State, did that in college.
What?
Yeah. And so, and then again, the dream has always been to be in movies. So having a theater background was really, really great. And it showed me a lot. I learned a lot. But the dream has always been to be on the big screen and being in movies. And so a long story short, sorry to go on a tangent like that.
No,
but
interesting.
Yeah, that's basically, putting a long story short, that's basically how it happened. And so to this day, I'm just getting closer and closer to my dream. And again, opportunities like the one you gave me, Stacey, thank you so much.
Wow. Okay, so let's rewind. That was a lot of good information. So, first of all, you played Jesus as a 6-year-old. Like
6-year-old, yeah.
What a character to portray. Like, wow, that's a
Yeah.
heavy hitter.
Yep.
And then that you didn't go to the audition, but the teacher called your mom. So you have teachers looking out for you. They recognize your
Yeah.
talent, and the other teacher basically wrote the play for you with you in
Mhm.
mind, right? Because
Yep, that's right.
that says a lot too. Like
Yeah.
another person recognizing your talent, and then, so the theater in high school, so I guess it was too much to balance, of course, theater and athletics. So that's why you.
Yeah. Because it's funny to this day, like right now, acting in movies is my number one passion I'm going for. But the thing I do on the side is actually play flag football. And I play in a couple flag football leagues here for San Francisco because, again, my 2 passions, again, are I call it acting and athletics. So I'm actually calling myself either an artistic athlete or an athletic artist, whatever one sounds better. And but you're right. I mean, in high school, I guess the best way to describe it is when I was in junior high and going through all grade school, I would do all the sports I could because really there wasn't really any acting going on. So what I would do is play all the sports in grade school and middle school and junior high. But then when I'd go home, I'd watch all movies, all my favorite movies, my favorite actors and stuff like that. And so I would learn from that. But then growing up, as you would know, the more you grow and the more responsibilities you take, the less you can do. So I started doing less and less sports. I mean, I did every sport, but then come junior high, I was only doing basketball, some football, maybe baseball. And then when I transitioned into eighth grade, my last year in grade school, I mean, I was really only doing basketball, but then I met this teacher. His name was Mr. Stephen Borchelt, and he really made an influence on not just my life and not just in school, but he was just as big a movie buff and as I was, and love actors and all this thing about that. So when I started learning not from him, but also learning what he was all about and realizing that's what I'm all about, that's when I was finally actually able to, you know, take the courage and actually move more towards acting. And so as much as I loved athletics and stuff like that, like you said, in high school, tried out for football, tried out for basketball, didn't work out. And again, I was a little depressed about that because I thought maybe athletics would be the way. But then when that opportunity came up, thanks to my high school teacher looking out for me, like you said, next thing you know, I realized that, hey, there's people out there looking out for you, not just because of what, you know, how good you are, but because of what they see in you. And so next thing I know, I was pursuing a lot of athletics, thinking that was the ticket. But then when it didn't work out, others out there, they came to me saying, hey, how about this? How about trying this? And even when I was reluctant, I still gave it my all. And next thing you know, like that, maybe that's what you need. You know, you need not just people looking out for, not just others helping you, but when you get that opportunity, dude, no matter what it is, go give it your all. And then that's where that is.
Wow. So yeah, I'm sorry I'm getting off, but
No, that's great. It's great. I love this.
yeah, well, since you're talking about you're such a movie fan and love actors, can you tell us like a few of your favorite movies and or actors?
Sure. I'm going to try to keep this. Dude, I'll probably try to keep this less than an hour. I promise. So, but nobody
If
gets
you
too
want
tempted.
to talk more, it's fine. Totally up to you.
Yeah, no problem, man. Boy, let's see. Well, my top three favorite movies, may sound kind of out there is, number one is The Shawshank Redemption. I mean, one of the classics out there. Growing up as a kid, it was Jaws. And that might seem like, it was the scariest movie I've ever seen, but I guess as a kid, you love that stuff. And then my third one that probably had the biggest influence on me was Beverly Hills Cop. The classic the Eddie Murphy classic that put him on top of the world. And the reason why, and then of course, when you talk about other movies that had influence on me, Jurassic Park was one of them because Jurassic Park was the very first time I went to a midnight showing. And if anybody out there loves movies, they remember, back in the day, when movies were coming out, you'd wait for the midnight showing at midnight, 12:01 when it showed up in theaters. And I was just a little kid when Jurassic Park came out, and my dad really wanted to go see it. But he only promised to take me if I promised not to fall asleep. And it was hard as a little kid. It was really, really hard. But I remember there was a cartoon scene in Jurassic Park. And since I was a kid, I loved cartoons. That actually got my attention just enough until that famous T-Rex scene when everybody started watching and it was classic. And I'll never forget that moment and that feeling and why Jurassic Park was so influential to me, because I remember as a little kid towards the end of Jurassic Park, I don't want to spoil the ending for anybody who hasn't seen it, but towards the end, when you hear that John Williams music score in the background and you see that beautiful last scene, and then all of a sudden directed by Steven Spielberg pops up and the music gets even better, I'll never forget how everyone in the theater just erupted in this huge roar and clapping and yelling and stuff. And I'll ever remember, but no one can hear you. The people in the movie can't hear you. Like, what are you clapping for? Like, yeah. But then I realized if you make such a great movie on screen, those are the responses that you get. And it was just so cool. And to tell you the truth, I think my real, I can name you all types of actors that I loved. I mean, Denzel Washington obviously is up there. But I mean, growing up, I still think that Steve McQueen is the coolest man in Hollywood history. And he's a real oldie way back in the day. But for those who know who Steve McQueen is, look him up. Watch The Great Escape, The Magnificent Seven, The Sand Peoples, stuff like that from Steve McQueen. And then, of course, back in the day, I know who Sidney Poitier is, and I followed him because he paved a lot of the way for some of us African Americans out there to do what we're doing. But yeah, growing up, I think I grew up in the best decade in the '90s as a kid, because in the '90s there were banger movies coming out every single week, from a young Tom Cruise to Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone in their primes, and then Will Smith burst on the scene with Independence Day and Men in Black. And so all of a sudden, Will Smith was called Mr. Fourth of July, because every Fourth of July he would save the world, and it was just a thing. And what's it called? And then of course in TV, shoot, shows like Martin, I still think it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen of all time. And then of course later on, unfortunately, like the Cosby Show was actually a big influence on me. And unfortunately, we all know what happened with the lead, and it's just really unfortunate. But the show itself was very influential. Family Matters. I don't know if anybody knows who Steve Urkel is, but he was a TV icon and stuff like that. And so, but to tell you the truth, I think what actually really moved me on movies was the music. And it's really weird to say, because I know everyone talks about actors and directors and stuff like that, but it was music and musicians that actually was my biggest influence, because every time I saw a scene and I heard the music, that's what brought out the tears. That's what brought out the smiles. Or that's what brought out like the emotion. Because I can quote Beverly Hills Cop like top to bottom, from end to end. Because apparently I have like a memory that it's not exactly eidetic or photographic, but it's really, really good. So like there's a few movies that I can literally quote from the beginning to the end. But it's always the music that brought out the emotion in me. And so again, to answer your question, I can go on for hours, Stacey. I'm so sorry, but and I don't want to bore anybody who's watching, whoever that is. So my bad. But like, I can go on about movie composers, movie actors, movie directors. And honestly, my favorite part is probably hearing the story behind the actors. Like probably, I think like one of my favorite stories is, like Eddie Murphy. He was trying to make it big. He promised his mom that by the time I'm 21, I'm going to make it big, Mom. And when he was 18 years old, before he was 18, he did Saturday Night Live. That's what got him noticed. Then his first movie debut was 48 Hours. That's what got him famous. And then came the trifecta, which was Beverly Hills Cop. That's the one that put him on top of the world. Like, it was the biggest grossing movie of 1984, which was my birth year. I hate to put my age out there, but no, in 1984, that's this. And then, and next thing you know, I just love learning about behind the scenes stuff. And I found out that Beverly Hills Cop, half the movie was ad-libbed by Eddie Murphy. Because like they had a good story, they had a good script, but they couldn't really finish it off. But then Eddie Murphy stepped in and ad-libbed some of these scenes, and even on some small scenes. And as a director, Stacey, you would love this. Like, there's a small scene where he's driving up to the restaurant, and the director says, "I need something. Something's missing. I need something there." And then Eddie Murphy comes out and says something like, he tells the parking valet, like, Can you put my car in a good spot? Because all this shit happened the last time I parked here. It was a junky car. And next thing you know, like, everybody's laughing. But it's those little things. And so, and again, I could go on forever, but like, it's stuff like that, stories behind the actors and music in the movies. Those have been my biggest influences.
Okay, so you're really into this.
Dude, I could go on forever, and I don't want to keep everybody forever, but man, Stacey, I could talk with you forever on stuff like that, man. I just love it.
This explains a lot why your acting is so good. Like, no, seriously.
Thanks.
Like,
thank you.
Yeah, so I have just a lot of what you said. So the three movies that you mentioned, that's quite a range, different genres.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You have a variety of genres that you're interested in, obviously. You mentioned, oh yeah, the backstory. So when you were a little boy, you were into movies then too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I was. Yeah. So much so that I remember times where I watched rated R movies when I wasn't allowed to. And the one time I got caught watching a rated R movie, I got in a lot of trouble, because that's when I learned, like, hey, you're too young to know certain cuss words or certain scenes that are either graphically violent or romantic interest and stuff like that. And, my mom and dad, hey, you can't be watching that. So while other kids were getting caught for stealing candy or, taking toys away and everything, I was getting caught watching movies I wasn't supposed to. And so for me, like, that's how much movies really had a hold on me when I was a little kid, because because again, I just thought that acting is something I think I could do like them. And then when I started watching more and more, I said, dude, I love to be in a movie like them, on the big screen, and something that becomes a homemade video. Like back in the day, VHSs, I still got my VHS collection. I still got some DVD collections. I was like, yeah, imagine yourself. That's why I love your Mr. Advocate poster. It's so beautiful. I'm like, dude, imagine that in the cover of a VHS or a DVD and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, Conrad and Andre on the side, and then the other two actors looking so awesome on there. I'm like, yeah, one of these days, man, I'll be on either the poster or a movie cover, something like that. And so, so it was just from the little things to the big things. I just loved every aspect of it. And as you said, as a little kid, I just loved watching all types of movies. You know what I mean? Obviously, as a kid, I watched all the Disney classics. I have those original VHS covers to those and stuff like that. And I guess because of the energy I had, maybe that's why The Jungle Book was my favorite Disney classic, because I just loved the music. I just loved the singing, the dancing, and all that stuff and everything. And then, of course, it turned out to be one heck of a story, about a tiger trying to, kill the man cub because of what he becomes and everything. And so, and the funny thing is, I love the story behind The Jungle Book, the classic, because it turns out that that was the last movie that Walt Disney himself personally supervised. He'd always personally supervised all the Walt Disney classic movies, but this is the one where he died during the supervision of that. So the story behind that was, if The Jungle Book fails, this could not maybe derail Disney, but definitely take it on a different trajectory than it was. So all of a sudden I started learning about things like, one movie may be the best, but another movie may be your favorite, and another movie may be the most important one. And so that's why for Mr. Advocate, I can't wait for the whole trilogy, because when Mr. Advocate trilogy comes up, I'm gonna say, okay, in the trilogy, which one was, I think, the best, which one was my favorite, and which one was the most important one. Now, sometimes it can be the same, but sometimes they can be different. And that's why I'm looking most forward to Mr. Advocate, because, again, when I break down the trilogy, it's going to be so great. But then I'm going to have to make my confessions. Like, oh, Stacey, my favorite was this one. The best one was that one. But I think the most important one was that. And so, yeah, and I would break down movies and stuff like that all the time. So, wow. I mean, yeah. And so that's why. And so it was one of those things where it also helped me, with my mind, because when I'd watch movies, I couldn't get enough of them. So I wanted to learn more. What's the behind the scenes stories? What's the story behind the actors and all that stuff? And so that would actually help me with my mind, with my studying. It helped me learn how to research and stuff like that, because when I found out what the movie was about and who the origins are of the actors, all that stuff, I want to look it up. And so yeah, so all those types of things, I really did.
That's a lot, and that helps your acting too.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
seriously, hearing
yeah.
these. And my friend in the comments says great origin stories. She's an actor, and also we have Miss Tina on the call, your
Hi,
scene partner.
that's right, Tina. Hi, how you doing? Oh my God, and great seeing you on there, Tina. And to the one, thank you for the great origin stories. Really appreciate that. And that's the thing. When I meet other great actors like Miss Tina there, and hopefully the other one that said great origin stories, I'll have to work with you guys all the time, because again, like I said, I can't wait to not only work with you guys, but then learn the story behind you guys. I want to know how you guys became such great and phenomenal performers that I got the pleasure to work with, because that's one thing that really stays with me is I think my dad was the one that taught me, like, hey, listen, son, what you're really working towards is all this work that you're doing and all these the stuff that you're doing. You're not doing that to become an actor, because everybody's trying to become an actor. Everybody is an actor. What you're doing is working towards your opportunity to stand out. And obviously, and then when you stand out, that's when you get, like you said, all those compliments, people noticing me and everything like that. But honestly, like I said, it just that comes from the opportunity of working with such great people. And so I'm hoping anyone on here, Miss Tina, I know you there, and everyone that I have worked with, I can't wait to do it again, because working with you brings out the best in me. And that's how I want to learn, like, hey, your story. How did you become such a great actor? How did you become the way you are and stuff like that? Because again, that's what I grew up loving to do and loving to research and loving to know. because at the end of the day, it's all about the people. So to everybody here and everyone that I got to work with, it's all about you, the people.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Well, also, so you mentioned the favorite story. Oh, Tina says she feels the same way, Art.
Oh, I love it, Tina. Dang, miss you
Yes.
already. That's it.
Now, you guys, okay, so you guys are both in Sweet Chariot. That's the second
Yes.
film in our trilogy.
Yes.
Um,
That's what I'm waiting for. Yeah.
yes, and that's what Jordan is, our DP, our director
Mm-hmm.
of photography and editor, for those of you who don't know. That's his favorite film, and also, I believe, Tehan, our gaffer, likes the second
Han.
than the
Yes.
first. My
Yes.
favorite is Mr. Advocate. I think Mr. Advocate is the most personal, so I'm gonna have a connection to it more. And it is, it is. The other two are not as personal, so they're not my favorite.
Hey,
But
go.
yeah, no, I like how each story is different. Each film is different. Each style.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Mr. Advocate is like traditional.
Yes.
Sweet Chariot is we break. I'll just tell you, it's okay. We break the fourth wall, so the actors
Mhm.
speak to the camera. There's spotlights. It looks different. And then the third film. Oh no, I'm sorry. I said Sweet Chariot. Wait, no, you guys, you're in Eyes in the Hall with
Yeah,
Tina.
I was gonna say Eisenhower Hall's the one I
Sorry,
remember. Yeah. No,
I'm
it's okay.
confusing the films.
It's okay.
Yeah, but Jordan and Tehan still like Sweet Chariot the best. Okay, Eyes
Mm.
in the Hall, the kids are a big part of it more so, and
Yes.
Jordan did oneers, so one shot, not many takes. And then yes, that's where you and Tina get into it, and I
Mm.
love it, love it, love it, love it. Tina, like you guys are so good. And then I have a picture of you guys hugging at the end.
Oh,
And
really?
I'm just like, how are they hugging? But they were just yelling at each other. That is so funny how actors can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I mean, shoot, it takes a great actor like Tina to still put on that powerful display when we were both doing our things. But at the end of the day, I loved it. I loved her. I had to hug her. I'm sorry. It was so awesome. Tina
I
was so
was
awesome.
scared. I was
Hey,
scared watching you guys.
dude, but you know what? I bet Tina feel the same. That's what I love. I mean, we will bring that out on not just ourselves, but hopefully evoke those emotions to the ones around us to the point where, like, I mean, you guys are acting, right? You do know that, right? Like, listen, you don't have to go there and stuff like that. But dude, working with someone like Tina that allows me to go there and allows me to get exactly what me and Tina were aiming for and trying for. And I think that's probably one of the other reasons why we hugged each other at the end, because I'm like, dude, you and me did it. And it felt real, and obviously it felt real to everyone else. But I guess you could say we did our jobs, and it felt
Hmm.
good doing it. And to do that, not just for ourselves and our craft, but also for you, Stacy, to give us such opportunity to do that in front of everybody. That's why, like, again, another reason why I can't wait to not only work with Tina again, hopefully one day, but see the finished product. And it really, really is awesome. And so,
Yeah.
yeah.
And Tina says, Art is my brother on and off camera. And Kelly says, education stories need to be told more than ever. And you do it amazing, Art. Love that there will be a trilogy, Stacy.
Oh my
Thanks for
God.
joining,
Oh my
Kelly.
God. It's Kelly Kill. It's one of my best friends from college. And she also is an educator, like Stacy. Oh my God.
Yay!
This woman is the absolute best. Oh, Stacy, thank you for allowing everybody, most people I know, to join this. Kelly, love you, girl. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. And you know what? I'm glad she said what she said too, because with all due respect, Stacy, I think probably my favorite part of the Brainmaker Film Festival, where Mr. Advocate just premiered again, was when you went on stage during the red carpet event on Thursday night and said your background and told
Oh,
where you came from as an educator and what you went through, and then how you brought it to this. I have a little video on that. I wish I could share it because it was incredible. And yeah, and again, Stacy, yeah, thank you. I'm glad you said that, because if it were up to me, it's the teachers and a couple other professions like nurses and stuff like that. You guys are the ones that deserve those multi-million-dollar contracts I see all these athletes getting and all these other people getting. It's the teachers that deserve that money, those contracts. because man, it's kind of like, I think my uncle's the one that told me that yeah, your parents raise you, but the teachers teach you. The teachers guide you.
Mm.
And so for me, that's probably the main thing that I wanted to bring to this IG live in terms of what I believe in, because what I believe in is the teachers. I just told you how my eighth grade teacher had that effect on me, and how in high school my choir teacher reached out and took a chance on me. If it wasn't for him, I might not have done it in high school and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
then in college, there's actually a professor. Her name was Lynn Moreau. I don't know if you heard her, but she's actually a Grammy Award winning professor in music. She's the one that was my mentor in college. And so I hope you don't mind me saying this, Stacey, but for
Okay.
me, but for me, it's all about the teachers. The teachers are the ones that I call the second most important profession, tied with nurses, and just below parents. And so,
Mhm.
like, so for me, that's the one thing I wanted to bring out to people's intentions. Parents, of course, but nurses and teachers, to me, most important. And like, I mean, if it was, and again, I love sports. I follow sports. I follow all these things, and I check all that stuff. But when I see those multi-million-dollar contracts, those belong to the teachers.
Mhm.
If I ran this country, that's what it is. And again, the athletes can still have their money, but they need to share it with teachers. So like, that's better.
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
that's what I do. Yeah. So if there was one thing that I wanted to convey in terms of my beliefs and things that things that I advocate for, because we talk about Mr. Advocate and stuff like that. No, for me it's teachers, nurses, and if there's a bigger broad sense, for me, women's equality. I will fight and die and advocate for that forever. So, Stacey, thank you for not only giving me the opportunity to be a part of this, but you be a part of something I believe in and support something I believe in. And it's all about teachers for me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Put a plug in because I want to remember later to ask you about the music and why that's so important to you.
Sure.
Um, but I want to ask you quickly about Mr. Advocate and your. There's a scene that is one of my favorites with Donuts with Dads, where you guys are walking down the hall. At first, I appreciate that you guys ad lib, and because I write the script, but I like it when actors take it control of it themselves, because you guys can
Yeah.
elevate, and the language better than me, I feel, because I just have a limited vision, but then you guys take it to the next level. So when you ad lib it, I love it. And so there's a part where Jeremiah crosses, looks in the door. I love that part. The music is,
Yeah.
yeah, like the way he walks, the rhythm of how he's walking goes with the beat. So shout
Yeah.
out to our music editor, Jordan, and music supervisor. And then the music, it says something about savages. And
Yeah.
so you caught that part?
Yeah. I caught that. Yeah. And actually, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
did you for the editing part? I don't know how you got that, but you
Yeah,
nailed
I
it.
asked Jordan about that. I was like, "Did you put that on there on purpose?" And he didn't. It just worked
Wow,
out.
it just
Yeah,
worked out. Wow.
because you turn and then you're like telling everybody else to come
Hey,
on, like
let's
we
go.
got this.
Yeah.
And then the
Let's
way
go.
you
Come on.
walk, I was just like, yes.
And, oh man! And you know what? I want to thank you for bringing that up, Stacey, because this may seem a little bit, again, like not self-centered or selfish or maybe vain. But one of the other reasons why I always want to be in movies is because when you see movies, they have slow motion moments, like slow mo moments that they milk and put, music behind and everything like that. We got to do that with you. And when I saw that scene, again, coming out the doors, walking across, I only had one chance to flip the ball without looking and catch it, and
Yeah.
yeah, and I was able to do it because I just sensed it and I nailed it the first time. But at the end, where Jeremiah crosses all three of us, but like perfectly, we didn't
Hmm.
break stride. He crossed us and did this, and then after I gave him plenty of time to look in that window, I come to him, give him that tap, saying, "Hey, come on, man, let's get going."
Yep.
And the way that happened and then the way that happened with Savages, the slow mo, and again, this may sound really vain, so I'm sorry out there if I sound
Mm-mm.
that way, but like I just love the way that looked and flowed. Shout out to Jordan and you, Stacey, for the direction. for making it look that way and providing me with one of my all-time dreams of a slow-mo moment. That's what I call it, a slow-mo moment. And like, if that's my first ever slow-mo moment, that will always live as my favorite, no matter what I may accomplish later on. But it was nailed to perfection. And to hear that Jordan, it just worked out that way during the editing process. He's better than I thought. He's already the best on that, but
Oh,
like, my God,
Jordan is a genius
he's
for
oh man,
sure. For
yes,
sure.
exactly.
He's
And
he studies a lot as well. I don't think he did. I have to ask him, but I don't think he did slow mo.
I mean, I was going to say I don't remember some of that, and I was privileged to watch one of the episodes of Galaxia that actually also
Yeah, I
premiered in
saw too.
Brainmaker. Yeah,
Yes.
I saw that, and man, sometimes it's a bittersweet thing to volunteer for Brainmaker because I love doing it, but I only had time to go over there, watch it, and then Jordan had to go to a wedding to shoot, and then I
Yeah.
had to go to a workshop to actually panel discuss and stuff. But it was so important to me to see it because Jordan's genius of what he's able to accomplish with his camera is so incredible. And so I wanted
Hmm.
to see what, for Galaxia, one of the episodes, which was amazing. And it
Yep.
already got me asking, like, yo, I want to see the other episode. What happened? And
Yeah.
so, and I also told him, like, hey, if this keeps going, like, please, I'll audition for any part in that because it was so beautiful.
Hmm.
And, but you're right. I saw such genius in his shooting and, of course, using that amazing scenery in Galaxia. But no slow mo moments. And I was like, wow, he did that for us in Mr. Advocate, and it turned out beautifully. So I was wondering if he did any more. And I think you're right, Stacey. I'd have to ask Jordan if he had any others because I don't think I've seen none.
Yeah,
But,
I'll
yeah.
ask him. I don't think so. Galaxia had a different DP though.
Oh,
I
that's
don't.
right. Yeah. Yeah. I
Jordan.
mean, Jordan didn't DP that. That's right. But it was like, I mean, I guess his
Yeah.
project, and maybe I was wrong. I just assumed it was his because it was great, and his direction was just as cool. But but that's the thing. I've seen a lot of good projects that he has DP'd before, and I've been a part of some other projects that he's DP'd
Hmm.
before. He's one of the first ones that I got to do when I first started with Brainmaker that finally got me back on track with my dream. And seeing what he's been able to accomplish, I was actually going to ask you, Stacey, like, have you ever done any other slow mo stuff? Because he nailed that to such perfection. It was my favorite. It was my favorite part. There was other stuff that was just so poignant and powerful, but my favorite was the slow mo moment. And it was
Hmm.
great. And
Yeah.
it was great.
And
So
that's
yeah,
why that's why he chose to put that scene in part of that scene in the trailer because it's
mm-hmm.
so important.
Yep. And it was
Yeah.
beautiful, yeah. And having it on the trailer, I was like, yo, he got that in there, and it still worked with even the trailer because the
Hmm.
trailer was obviously it's a different beat, it's a different um, pace, I guess you could say, because in the trailer you put as much as you can, but it still has to flow into something that you can follow, so you can get what the story's about and all that. So for him to execute that, oh man, it just made an already incredible movie and story by you, Stacey, even better. So shout out to Jordan and all the crew out there. Tehan doing both duties, Billy doing his thing there. Like, yeah, I mean, these guys are so incredible. It really is.
Yes, yes. So Tina and Kelly, if you have questions, put them in the chat. I don't know how you are on time, Art. Oh, we got Triana. Hey,
Yeah,
Triana.
yeah. No, I made time for this. Matter of fact, what's it called? I took 8 showers, used 5 soaps, 4 deodorants, a couple colognes until I realized, wait, this is virtual, so nobody gonna smell me or nothing. So yeah, so I'm good. I
You
mean,
smell
the
good
hair
and you
is
look good. You're
okay.
funny, Art. The comedy.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks. Just, but yeah, I was just looking forward to this IG live. That's why I handled all my business and said, yeah, come 6:30, nobody bother me. It's me and Stacy for as long as she likes and as long as people can tolerate me. So I'm out. So yeah. So, but no, I mean, it's such an honor being here and being a part of this. And again, if you ever want to talk about how music was so
Oh,
integral, you
right.
let me know. Yeah,
Yes, yes. But we will have other Bay Area screenings, but it'll be good for you all to see it on the big screen in a movie theater.
yeah,
I can't wait for
yeah,
you guys to see that.
yeah,
You'll really like that. And I just wanted to point out that the dads too in this film, I've said it before, but as an ensemble as well as individually, you guys were very strong and instrumental in the film because if the dads were not there, um, the teacher couldn't have accomplished what he wanted to do. I don't.
yeah.
I don't think Nathan would have. been successful without the dad's presence to, you know, push
Yeah, that's right.
the
And
principle.
I think that's why the most powerful scene was we talk about we talk about Mr. Advocate, we talk about the principal and teacher butting heads um, with beliefs that they truly believe, like, are should be followed. Obviously, the principal following the system, following, the that's back what he thinks should be done through the structure, and then of course the teacher following what he believes in, which would benefit the kids. So it's like two opposing forces. What do you call it? An unstoppable force, immovable object, because of their beliefs that they cling to on how to make things better. Um, and what I love what you did, Stacey, is that you didn't portray the principal as just a straight up villain trying to, stop everything, kill everything. Like, he had his own baggage too, and that was conveyed so beautifully that it got the crowd thinking, like, whoa, okay, so he ain't like that. He's doing what he's doing, but he's got his own stuff going on too. And oh man, um, for the dads to get the back of not just the teacher but the kids, and like go as far as they did, where, oh, no, we're not just gonna um, tell you our grievances. We're gonna show up for the AI show. We're gonna show up when the superintendent, I believe, shows up. We're gonna be there for that too. Now, we're gonna be there to talk to the principal like they tried. Then be at the AI show, and then the superintendent, and they're gonna do more than just address their grievances. And that made a huge push, as you said, Stacey. And then I think the best part to me was, after all that, somehow you found a way for the principal and the teacher to get that beautiful shot. I think you said Jordan noticed, oh wait, there's something right in the middle. We can do something with this. And next thing you know, like, oh my God, these two still had I won't say a confrontation, but they still got together face to face and addressed what was going on, not just with the AI show and what's going on, but with themselves. And I'm like, man, that needs to be seen. It needs to be felt from both sides. And I'm like, man, because obviously, shoot, I advocate for the teacher, I advocate for the kids, obviously, but knowing that the principal has some stuff too is just so important. And oh man, for both actors to convey and do what they did, like, that's, oh man, this is, shoot, you talk about in the fields, and those two, like, shoot, I thought I was watching, like, dude, that Denzel Morgan Freeman in their primes, like this Oscar winning moment stuff right here by those two. And I'm like, and then of course, shout out to Andre. I mean, he had probably my favorite line in there. So I was like, yeah, that's right, just like Mr. Harris, yo, daddy.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, man. So I can go on and on because I just love this. I love them. Um, but I 100% agree with you, Stacey. It was what the Donuts for Dads were able to accomplish, and how they were able to use their power as well. Because we all saw what a teacher did with the AI show and with Recess and what he was trying to do. But we also saw the principal, asserting his, I guess you could say, strength in his beliefs. So the Donuts for Dads had to come with it too. Like, we have a power too. We need to do that. And they did it to every single person, including the janitor, who unfortunately had his own agenda with, stuff like that. And so I agree with you 100%. The Donuts for Dads turned out to be so much more important than people would thought. So yeah, and just honored to be one of them. Just honored to be one of them.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. So I want to talk about, we're going to get to the music
Mm-hmm.
via Spike Lee. I'm going to take a detour because you mentioned how the teacher and the uh, principal had their opposing views, but when I was writing it, I wanted to make sure that they were both correct, because listened to the master, or watched the master class with Spike Lee, and he talked about in Do the Right Thing how there's the Italian restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
pizzeria.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so you remember that scene?
yeah. I remember. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yep.
that's right.
So on all the photos that were on the wall were of Italian.
Italian.
Yeah, but all the customers were black. So the black
Mm-hmm.
customer was like, "Well, where are the black people?" And that's a good question because they're supporting the business. But then the
Yeah,
owner was like, "Well, it's my restaurant. I'll put up who I want to put up." So he's right too. So you have those contrasting views where they're both right. And
Yes.
that's what makes
Yeah.
a good story. So I
Yes.
looked to that because I was like, well, I want to do that too,
Yeah.
where they're
Right.
both right.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And yeah, I think a lot of people who are a lot of comic book fans, they love the story of Black Panther, and it's just another case where like, yo, we know who the and this is why when both sides have good points, that's why it's so important to label them as a protagonist and an antagonist instead of when you grow up saying, oh, good guy versus bad guy. I was like, oh yeah. I mean, if he's just a bad guy doing bad stuff, then yeah, then he's a bad guy. But when you have a protagonist and an antagonist, both sides have valid points, or at least valid points to them. And if they can back it up through their experience and all that stuff, then with all due respect, they may still be wrong, but you have to understand where they're coming from because you have no choice. They if they can back it up through their experience and through their beliefs and all this other stuff, then it's something that at least has to be acknowledged and respected. It can still be wrong. That's why the antagonist, but then the protagonist is like, wow. And then if both sides are right, then we get to see like, will these guys have another chance to come together and figure this out? And
Mm-hmm.
like and at the very least, acknowledge each other's sides because they may still end up on opposing sides and not one of the thing. But at the very least, can they still come together and at least acknowledge, okay, I see where you're coming from. Uh, Still don't believe in it. Still think it's wrong, but I understand. And I guess it's basically the way like it may not excuse what you're doing, but it does explain what you're doing. And
Mm-hmm.
so like, and so that's why, yeah, that's one of the first things I learned, growing up when you get those complex stories where both sides have valid points, then that's when I learned it's a protagonist and antagonist, not just good guy, bad guy. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and so for you, the way you convey that in Mr. Advocate, it was such beautiful direction and beautiful storytelling. And then that cherry on top, the icing on the cake at the end, where you got those two together and Jordan found that beautiful shot in the middle where we can keep it a watch. Oh man, it was like chef's kiss, PA superstar. I loved it, man. All that stuff. And so thank you for doing that because I think you're right. Those are the stories where like, those are the best stories. We're gonna delve into both sides of this and their experience and what they're trying to do, and then the way the story's told, we'll let the audience decide for themselves. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what does it. Yeah. And so and there's no better story than that. It's great. It's great. It really is. And you're right. And do the right thing. Spike Lee's joint. Yeah, I thought of that recently. Black Panther. I mean, obviously Black Panther did that, but then he found out that no, his own father did something wrong, and it wronged Michael B. Jordan's character, Killmonger. So he had a valid point coming from his experience. And so, and that's why, like, if you're really a good guy and a protagonist, you'll find a way to at least come back together and try and figure this out. And that's where we find out if the antagonist is he an antagonist or is he a bad guy? Because you have a chance to find middle ground, but then it all comes down to the one thing that every single one of us has the power to do every single day, and that's choice. We all have it. We all have a choice. That's one thing that nobody can take away. Every single day you guys wake up, anyone who's watching, dude, do you realize the power you have? I have the power to choose what cologne I'm gonna wear, what clothes I'm gonna wear, what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna eat today, and stuff like that. And then of course there's other things, but the number one thing nobody can take away from you is choice. So I love that, Stacey, when you had because the funny thing is that after both sides kept butting heads, the janitor, he had a choice to make, and he unfortunately made his, and he was kind of, doing this thing on the side with Mr. Harris and everything. But then the donuts with dads, they had a choice to make too. Like we can allow this because our kids' education is important, but we believe this also is important, and we're going to choose to back this up. And so, and yeah, and then when you got that last scene in there, both those two people had a choice. Are we still going to ignore each other, still going to not do anything, or are we going to talk this out? And so, yeah. So thank you, Stacey, for pretty much conveying such a great story and bringing it to a great close at the end. It was awesome.
Thank you, Art.
Yeah.
And we have a question from Kelly. Anything that surprised you to learn about education from this story? Was there anything you related to in your character or with the story as a whole?
Yeah, I think the thing that I want to say surprised me about education, but I think the thing that just reminded me of the first time I was surprised about this is exactly what teachers, I don't want to say go through, but what teachers sacrifice in order to do what's best for their kids. And this again goes out to all the teachers, because I think this story reminded me of the first time I was absolutely shocked and surprised to hear that teachers are paying for some supplies and some games and some things that they want to do out of their own pocket, out of their own time. After school is done, they'll take time after the school day to go. I think the first time I heard was they're going to go to Walmart, not Walmart, but like
Dollar
Target or
store.
Walgreens. Yeah, the
Yeah.
dollar store, the Walgreens, and everything to buy certain supplies for certain projects that they want to do. But it's all them. I was like, and it's all their pocket. It's all their money. It's all their time. And they'll bring it back just so their kids can have that experience and a chance to learn their way with their project. And that's what means the most to them. And I guess that's probably the reason why I call my IG story, or not my IG story, but my IG page is called Art Form, because I truly believe that there's an art form in everything we do. You know, there are a lot of teachers out there, there are a lot of actors out there, a lot of athletes out there, a lot of everything out there. But how they do what they're supposed to do, that's how they separate. That's their art form. That's how they separate. And so so when I saw Stacy's story and how the AI show meant so much to the kids, and then how for one of those kids, recess meant so much to them, it just reminded me of the sacrifice that the teachers are making. Their time, their money to make the supplies, and then at the end of the day, sometimes their job. What if this gets on the wrong side? And what if we have a principal that's so gung ho on this that if they have a teacher keep pushing back, they're going to do what they can to just relieve him of at least those duties and hair just to stay on there. So the sacrifice is, I think, what reminded me of the first shock. And this story just reminded me of, again, the first time I heard of what teachers sacrifice. And so it just reminded me of all that, seeing that, and just reminded me why I advocate for them the most. And then I guess for my character, the one thing I could relate to them is, I mean, this might be embarrassing to admit, so hopefully it's not. I mean, I hope there are a lot of people watching this, but this might be embarrassing to admit. So I think the way it related to me as a character is that Donuts for Dads, which is such a great title in its own, by the way, Donuts for Dads. Thank you so much, Stacey, for thinking that. But the one thing I think related to my character is that I guess you could say I'm a kid at heart. And I mean, don't get me wrong. When it comes to handling business of life, you know, I'm a grown up and everything. But being a kid at heart, growing up, and still to this day, I think is how I related to seeing all those kids and how wonderful they acted and how wonderful they were in this movie during the AI show, during the recess to start off the whole movie, and then seeing seeing how their eyes lit up and how their faces lit up when it was either the AI show we're going to do or going to do recess, which means so much to these kids. And then we realize that they have so much energy and they can definitely give their grievances of what they want to do and how they want to do it. And then it's up to the dads like me. Okay, son. Okay, daughter. Okay, whatever the case is. If this is what you want, I'm going to go get it for you. I'm going to go fight for you. And I think that's probably the best thing that I related to my character, which was I'm a kid at heart, but I play a dad. And I hope to be one in real life one day. I mean, hopefully we'll see what happens. But being a dad, which is something I am not and hope to be, I was like, well, the way I can relate is seeing these kids, because that's the same way I was, you know, like, yeah. So I think what related to me as a character was being a kid at heart again.
Got it. Cool. Good answer. So as we close out, let's bring it back to the music. I was inspired to have the trumpet player at the beginning of the film from Spike Lee's films. He was a
Beautiful.
lot of music.
So beautiful. Yep.
Yes. And
I love it.
so tell us, because you mentioned, you obviously know your composers, because with Jurassic Park, you mentioned, I think you said John Williams.
Yep. That's
So
right.
for an actor to know the composer, a lot of people unfortunately don't look up composers unless you're interested in music.
Right. Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's cool that you know that. So yeah, tell us about, well, you talked about how music really helps the story, but just say some more about it.
Yeah, no problem. I think what probably was the most interesting thing about me is that the only instrument I play is my voice. I can sing, and so but in terms of music, um, growing up and the reason why I was so big is because that's what my eighth grade teacher did. He created this class called Creative Arts, and he was a big movie buff and he was big into music. But what he showed us was that a lot of those movies that you guys love to watch and love to see and love to emulate and love to copy lines from and everything, stuff. Dude, they have a lot of the same composers to them. And that's when I realized that, yeah, growing up, my favorite movie was Jaws. And that was the first time that Steven Spielberg and John Williams worked together. And ever since that movie, those guys worked together on almost all the projects they did. And I was like, wow. And and then again, so John Williams did a lot of the movies that I loved watching growing up. And then my favorite composer of all time, his name is Jerry Goldsmith. He's the one that he did like a lot of the fun stuff. Like he did Total Recall, the Arnold Schwarzenegger one. He did Air Force One, the Harrison Ford is the president one. And what's it called? He did a lot of the low key stuff that was still big Hollywood projects, but not as big as the other ones. And some of the music he portrayed was like really cool, really scary, and really upbeat, and just like it brought out the emotion in me. And then I probably realized that when I listened to one of Jerry Goldsmith's soundtracks and just the music. And next thing you know, I'm like, dude, that's the scene where the guy's running away from the bear, but then he gets trapped in the cliff, and then the bear's coming at him. And I was like, whoa, I have like a perfect photo memory of like when this happened and how I felt when the bear was coming at him and stuff like that. And that's when I realized that's another way that it really gets close to me and it really sticks out with me. And then when, of course, like I said, once I find what I love, I start researching what else they've done and researching all the stuff that they're into. And then I find out probably my most favorite story is John Williams when he did the music for Jaws. Apparently, the story is that all he did was he went to a piano and played those two famous keys, da 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 da. And apparently, Steven Spielberg, when he first heard it, Steven Spielberg laughed in his face. He thought he was joking. And like John Williams said, no, this is the Sharks theme. Like this is what is being played. And then he played, of course, the rest of it. Steven Spielberg was a young director who didn't have the clout to push back or anything. So even though he had his reservations and he had his feeling some type of way about that, he let him stick with it. Next thing you know, those two music notes that everybody knows is scared an entire generation into going into the water. Like, if anytime people hear those notes, they're like, "Oh yeah, I ain't going to the beach today."
Right.
Like, yeah, and so that's when I realized how powerful it was. And then, like, you hear those stories. I'm like, yeah, with two notes, an entire generation was scared to go in any water, a pond, a swimming pool. Some people said, and I'm like, dude, it was insane. And so that's when I first learned that music can have that effect on you emotionally when you're watching that film. And so, of course, as an actor, when you have to delve into certain emotions and bring that out, sometimes I remember about the music, what music made me cry. And I think about that if I have to cry on command. And so, and then that's what people ask me, like, how do you cry so easily? And I said, I put the music in my head and I remember how it made me feel when I see that scene and it comes out of me. And it really works. Yeah, it really works. So music to me had a bigger, profound impact on me than I thought. But to me, it's the emotion. It brings out the emotion in me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Art, for sharing today. I learned a lot about you and your
Thank you.
process.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And again, I can't wait to see this trilogy, man. Being a part of this IG Live. And yeah, Stacey, thank you so much for the opportunity. And again, I mean, the dream is to win an Oscar one day. And when that happens, I can go back to this is how it started. Thank you so much, because that's the dream. And with people like you, teachers like you, and opportunities like this, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Art.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'll hope you'll invite me to your Oscar
Oh, dude, yeah.
ceremony.
Everyone in this chat is coming. I guarantee you that. I
You're
love it, man. Yeah.
yes. Tina's clapping.
Yes, Tina. Right back at you, man. Shoot. And cannot wait for Eyes in the Hall and oh man, the third one.
Sweet Chariot.
Sweet Chariot. Yeah, Sweet Chariot. So
Sweet
yeah,
Chariot.
This is gonna be great, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate all of y'all. Love all of y'all. Big shout out to my personal trainer, my boxing trainer. We got a big ambitious project coming out. So if you're watching, love you guys too. So yeah,
All right. Thanks, Art. Have a good evening. Nice talking
thanks.
to you.
You
Take
too.
care.
Take it easy.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.